Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Rufino's on Highland Road. Line of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments. Charles Hannegriff along with Richard Dixon. Max Gotro, Jimmy Ott will be along in hour number 2 of the show. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Let's see. And Troy Macker on the East Coast. We got Bruce Marshall in Vegas. We got Chris Massaro on the West Coast. And us here. I think that's it. I think we got all the time zones are pretty much all the time zones are represented. Max, can we have you go to like Denver or something?
We need some Mountain Central.
Yeah, we'd have them all covered. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Finished up the regular season last night.
You pulling double duty today?
Yeah. Hester's not feeling well, and Matt and Hester started blowing my phone up about 5:30 this morning. A little nervous.
Seems like a lot of people aren't feeling as well these days, right?
Yeah, it's rough.
It's getting to that point in the season. So we got this news after practice yesterday. I want to get this right. Quarterback Garrett Nussmeier aggravated an abdominal injury, and Frank Wilson said he'll be now listed as probable tomorrow against Arkansas. What say you? So for those not watching on YouTube, Richard's shaking his head.
I feel like we called this in post game. We talked about it. Does he just shut it down? Look, and it's a very tough thing for all of us, and for Garrett. For me as a former player and thinking about what he's going through, nobody wants to end your career this way. My biggest regret in LSU football, we ended on a lost to Penn State. For him, with such high hopes and such a Louisiana guy, a guy that's been here, stuck with us, wrote it out, had probably unfair expectations. I mean, everybody's comparing him to the second year, Joe Burrow's second year,
yeah.
Jaden Daniels' second year, Garrett Nussmeier's second year. Every situation's not the same. He hasn't played well this year, but he hasn't had a lot of help. And it's tough because he's a guy that was, preseason. If he'd have left last year, he was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And, he had everything set up. He came back for this season and probably cost him some money.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. This reminds me so much of how the 98 season played out. 98 season, LSU went in, ranked in the top 12, I think it was, preseason, won the first 3 games. They were in the top 6. I think they were ranked number 6 in the country. Their senior quarterback, Herb Tyler, who had started since he was a freshman. Kevin Falk had come back for his final year. That group was set up to win. They thought they were ready to take the next step. And they won the first 3 games, and here comes Georgia. And Quincy Carter came out and hit, I think it was his first 12 or 14 passes, whatever it was in the game. Champ Bailey, the future Hall of Famer, was playing both ways for Georgia. He was everywhere on the field that night, and LSU lost by a point. And from that point forward, the season fell apart, and it feels like this one's got a lot of similarities to that. Now, they didn't have in '98 a win over a team like Clemson, or what we thought Clemson was, but it kind of just petered out as the season went along, and it got like that to the end. And when it just triggered that memory when you said that this is not how you wanted to go out. That's not how Herb and Kevin and that group wanted to go out. Okay, Herb Tyler won more games as starting quarterback than anybody in the history of the school except for Tommy Hodson. I think that record is still intact. or close to it. Jordan Jefferson might have gotten there, but it's top three. And Kevin Falk is arguably as important a figure in LSU, modern-day LSU football history, let's say since Charlie Mack. He's as important as anybody that's come through here. And I didn't want to see him go out like that. Those guys had played hard. Those guys had done what they could, and the season got away from them. I'm not saying it was their fault or whatever, because it wasn't. Yeah. But the season got away from them. And that's a little bit how I felt about Nussmeier. This thing has got away from him. It was the Ole Miss game instead of the Georgia game this time that kind of set him on the spiral. It's not a perfectly symmetrical comparison, but guys that you feel like have given you what they had, you don't want to see them go out like this.
No, those are guys that deserve to go out on top and be remembered for what they did. And it's just tough for him. Like I get it. He's got to protect himself. When I saw that come out last night, the first thing was it protects his image if they decide to not play him. It's not that because right now people saying he got benched last week. Okay, so if we came out and he did, yeah. But if he come out and Van Buren plays the whole game this weekend, I think that damages him more than saying, hey, he's our guy, he's our starter, he's nicked up.
And this is public perception, right? Because the NFL knows. And if they don't know right today, they'll certainly know by the time the draft comes around in April. Okay, there are no secrets. You went through the draft process. Yeah. What kind of questions did they ask you?
They know everything.
Yeah. What, did they ask you anything they didn't already know?
They would just want to see if you were going to lie.
Yeah. And so if this is something that he could play through and doesn't, they'll know. Yeah. And look, I'm not even saying it's the wrong move. Probably there were games, if everybody had it to do over again, would you sit him against Southeastern?
Yes.
Would you sit him against La Tech?
Yep.
Would you have sat him against Ole Miss?
Probably.
Harder call, but maybe, think about where they were. And this is not a second guess. We all said this.
They were undefeated at the time.
We were sitting right here in these same two seats, and it was obvious that he was hurt. If nobody knew that he was hurt going into the Louisiana Tech game, we certainly knew when he left that ball for Hilton as short as he did. Like, wait a minute. That didn't look right at all. Or was it Brown? It was Brown in that game. It was Hilton against Ole Miss. So you knew something wasn't right. You sit him there. You play him against Florida. Now, he played well enough to win. Didn't set the world on fire, played well enough to win. At that point, you can sit him down for 3 weeks. You can sit him down for Southeastern. You can sit him down for Ole Miss. And you can sit him down for the bye week. That gives you almost a month in real time to let this thing heal. They chose to play him through it. I understand it would have been a difficult call to keep him out of the Ole Miss game. That was a big, big game. But you had this is where the head coach has got to step in and say, listen, I got to look big picture here.
One loss doesn't kill you.
One loss doesn't kill us and get into playoffs. And I can have you healthy for the October and November part of the schedule, as healthy as I can get you in the season. And they played him through it. And I'm sure Nussmeier probably said, hey, I want to play.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody does.
I get it. I admire it. But it wasn't the right call. No. Now, there's no guarantee if they sit him that everything heals perfectly and this has a happy end to the story. But that's what I think they would do if they had it to do over again.
I think everybody. I mean, especially when you had to come back and say that it was aggravated again. I think the worst comment that throws everybody into loop on this is when Brian Kelly said he's not going to be ready till after the bye week.
He contradicted himself.
Yeah.
We called it at the time. I mean, this is not a second guess. There's a lot of stuff we look back on. It's like, well, maybe they should have done this. But at the time, it was, you're not really saying the same thing. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth here. This is not how he's going to get better.
He's healthy enough to play, but he's not going to be right until after the bye week.
And I'm speculating here. Nobody's told me anything. This is my opinion only. Doesn't it sound like what he's got today is just another version of what he's had all year?
Yeah, it's just.
Has he been a completely 100% healthy all year?
No, probably not.
Healthy enough to play?
But and that's football for the most part. I mean, nobody, especially by, week 4 or 5, nobody's 100% healthy. Everybody's beat up a little bit. There's things you play through. There's things that doesn't affect you. It hurts, but it's all, when you hear about pain tolerance, does it affect your ability or does it just hurt? And that's a big difference. And
we saw it on film. It affected his ability to make this.
And once it affects your ability, you have to sit. In my opinion. I mean, that's just once it affects the team, you can no longer. And that's the whole deal with Weeks right now. What Frank's talking about is Witt wants to play. He wanted to play last week, but he said you're at 80% or whatever. I mean, if it affects the team, if we got a guy that 100% is just as good as you, at 80%, we got to put the team in a better situation.
Yeah. So for Nussmeier, look, if they were, and I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow or not.
Yeah.
Frank's saying he's probable. I'm thinking probably not, but that's my opinion. That's just from
the timing of it.
Of course, it looks like a cover story, but it's really just an extension of what Nussmeier's been dealing with all year. There were other times this season that he should not have played. It would have been better off for him. It would have been better off for the team if he had not played. That is my opinion. We can't go back and redo history, but that's my opinion, is if you'd have sat him down for a long period, even if you go get blown out at Ole Miss, okay. But now I got the senior quarterback that I wanted to have in for the rest of the schedule, at least as healthy as I can make him. They didn't do that. This is probably a lot of the same. Just a guess, he probably feels a little bit today like he felt at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't make the throws down the field that day either, but he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's get to Michael Van Buren. Van Buren has told them, take the red shirt off of me. Okay, if he plays in 2 of the last 4, he's going to lose the red shirt. Now, these are mop-up games. These are not going to put LSU in the playoff.
He's got 1 game left to play.
If he plays 2, if he plays 2,
he can only play in 1.
Yeah,
without
if he plays in 2,
okay.
he's out. This is for him a heck of a decision because he's sacrificing a year on the back end. In 2000, and it would be 28. If he would redshirt this year, he could play in 2028, assuming they haven't changed every eligibility rule by that time.
Got to see the NCAA, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, just right. Contact your boy Mars, the lawyer. But he's sacrificing that year. That would be a tremendously valuable year for Michael Van Buren.
Yeah.
He could be a starting quarterback somewhere. I mean, if his and I don't know where he's going to be next year. Could be here, could be somewhere else. But if you get to 2028 and you're a fifth-year quarterback, and on your resume it's got 8 SEC starts at Mississippi State, and then it's got however much he ends up playing to this point and the rest of the way again for LSU. And then whatever goes on the resume in 26 and 27, wherever that is, you're probably a pretty valuable guy in 2028. You can be a starting quarterback and get paid to do it somewhere. From what I've seen of Michael Van Buren so far, I don't think he's a professional quarterback. Certainly not a professional starting quarterback. He could develop in the next 2 years, and I could change my mind. But right this second, I don't look at him and go, can't miss NFL prospect.
Yeah.
So this is a significant amount of money in the 2028 season that he's leaving on the table to play in ostensibly 3.5 games.
Or he's moving his chips up if he feels confident. If he plays lights out in the next 3 games.
That's the other part of it. That's the gamble.
How much money can he get now? Because now, okay, I'm not
That's
saying
a fair
I'm
point.
coming here. I said, look, I believe in myself. I go show out, and you play. It's easier to play 3 great games in a great season. So you go out there and feel good. You get your money now. Go play lights out for 3 games, and then make LSU pay you to stay.
Let's play the scenario out. You're playing the worst defense in the SEC tomorrow. You put up a big game. You build some confidence. Everybody feels pretty good. You play a non-conference game next week. You can build on that confidence. Then you go to Norman, Oklahoma, which is a top-flight defense. That is a top 5 national defense. And you play well there, you're right. Your stock goes up immeasurably.
Yeah.
That's 3 games from now. He could throw 5 interceptions in the next 3 games. I don't know. It is a gamble. If it's you got kids. They're playing ball. What would you do?
It's got to.
If you're advising your son, what would you do?
Well, I'm talking to the coaches. I've been at practice. I've talked to him all season. To me, it's a feel. Do I feel like that he was good enough right now? Then let's go. If I'm watching and I'm being honest with them, and I don't think that you're doing things that you can be better at next year with a little bit more work, then I probably say let's redshirt.
Because right now he is the quarterback. I mean, if Nussmeier doesn't go, it's not him. It's Colin Hurley, who hasn't played at all. So
for him, I mean,
she's your ship to fly.
Do you want a red shirt? Okay, that means that LSU doesn't know what they have in you. They're probably going to bring in another transfer. Are you guaranteed?
And they're going to do that regardless.
Yeah. So, or do you feel confident in what you can do now? Show him that you can be the guy.
He's betting on himself.
Yeah.
On a 3-game tryout, basically here. I can make a case either way.
Yeah.
This is the more aggressive of the two plays. It would be you get a whole year to do it the other way. But like you said, you get on a 3-game roll, make yourself some money. We're here at Ruffino's. The restaurant opens at 11 a.m. Chef Patrick's got on the weekly features menu today the cauliflower soup, yellow curry, roasted cauliflower, and chili crunch. In that appetizer features today include the Louisiana crab cake and the Italian meatballs with the Ruffino's red gravy. Entree features today the grilled ribeye cap butter steak with mashed potatoes and sweet chili Brussels, red snapper, Louisiana red snapper with crawfish mock shoe and sautéed green beans. That's your weekly features here at Ruffino's. And come by and see Barry the bartender. Now we got some different menu items on the drink menu today. He's making blackberry smashes, Jack Blackberry with the mint lemon and the simple syrup. Blackberry smashes today. Ask him about that. Barry the bartender. Aiming to please here at Ruffino's. Lock of the Week Friday presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for us over the years, our family. So if you've got back pain, you got muscle soreness, you got things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, restricting your range. If your abs are hurting, you can get you got abdominal strain. Get over and let them pinpoint those target areas and get you to feeling better through a variety of techniques they can use to pinpoint those problem areas, whether it be an exercise and stretching program or dry needling, electric nerve stimulation, cryo, ultrasound therapy. They'll get you feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla, Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. All right, let's talk about what you saw to Michael Van Buren. We did the film study. If you want to go watch it, it's on YouTube right now, Handycast film study. We went through all of this stuff. What did you think of Michael Van Buren's second half?
I was impressed enough to feel like that, right now with the team, I'm not saying he's the better quarterback, but he's a better fit right now. He moves faster. He plays a little bit faster. I think he's trying to get rid of the ball quicker. And then he can escape. Like I said, it's not a dual threat guy that's going to beat you with his legs, but he can go get 5-6 yards and just keep you in rhythm.
His completion percentage was down. You graded 4 drops in the obvious one.
There was one great catch, so you want to wash that one. But
let's be fair. They bailed him out on one, but they let him down on 4.
Yeah, so he could have gone 9 for 11. The yardage, Tradez catches that one. We went back and broke it down on film. The way the safety was running, he had a backside guy on the hash. Tradez can move. That's a 30, 40-yard gain possible, make a guy miss, take it to the house. Yeah,
at the very least, he's going to get to midfield or right around midfield. And if he shakes one tackle, he's gone. The stat line looks a lot different if that happens.
If he's coming in of 9-11 with 180 yards and a touchdown, everybody's going, okay, I feel good about it. But when you just look at the paper and show 5 of 11 for whatever yardage he had, it goes back to, well, that's why he's not an accurate guy.
Talk to me about the middle of the field, this barren, vast opening of real estate that they have not taken advantage of very often.
It's an important part of the game.
Why are they not?
Well, there's not a lot of – no one's selling out on the run. The middle of the field opens up with a good run game. When you're I showed you on film study, we had one play action where Garrett Nussmeier was under center, and we hit it over it was really a middle throw. I mean, he hit it maybe right at the hashes, outside the hashes, but it was a designed middle throw. Because of the play action, the linebackers step up, and it creates that void, gives you a little hole in the middle to dump it over. When your linebackers have no confidence in your run and they're not stepping up and playing fast to the line of scrimmage and they're drifting, it gets really hard to throw in the middle of the field.
So what do you do to fix that? I mean, if
you run the ball.
Well, okay.
You run the ball, or you got to have more of the right way to say it. You got to be a very football savvy, intelligent player to understand how to get open in the middle. You got to get into some choice routes and play against what the defense is doing. Make guys bend, set guys up. Do a little bit more heady plays.
Seemed like they were trying early in the game to put the ball in the middle of the field a little bit with the screen game mostly, but they were doing two things. They were trying to get the middle screens going, and then they were moving the quarterback, which we had not seen them do very much with Nussmeier.
I thought that's the best he's looked.
He made a really nice throw. Was it to Barrion Brown or on the roof? Or
like a 3rd and 8, he got one, but he rolled out to the right and hit him coming across the middle.
Yeah, that was a really good-looking throw.
He looks good on the move like that. Where he doesn't look good is forced to be on the move. Like if it's a designed moving the pocket, he looks really good. When he has to move on his own, that's where it gets tough. But like the middle screen where Bowers fumbles the ball, it's a hell of a play. Great play. It was perfectly blocked. I think it's one of the best executed plays I've seen up until the fumble. The one thing on that one is if you have a young guy in Kyle Parker, if you go watch the film, he just gets on the wrong side of a guy.
You have said that so many times this year on Film Study, and it's been true every time, where it's like, got that part right, got it right. Right up to the end. It reminds me of that scene in Top Gun where he comes in, he goes, that was some of the best flying I've seen yet. Right up to the part where you got killed, and that's what a lot of these plays seem like. It's like everything was great until the fumble. Everything was great until the penalty. That has happened so many times this year. Even when it's not obvious to us on a first watch, you go back and watch it the second time, and you go, that would have worked.
There's a discipline to it, and like I said, I don't think that they get to practice it. I know they don't practice as much as we did, and the amount of reps that we got in. But, that was one that I was kind of a little bit frustrated with Kyle Parker. He's a second-year guy. He's shown a lot of great things, been a good blocker. But when you know the design of the screen is to go back to your left side, then why would you block him to the right? If he just moves his feet a little bit, gets in the way, I think Bauer Sharp takes that to midfield. He doesn't fumble because the guy that we don't block by bad technique and bad alignment is the guy that comes in and knocks the ball out.
There's way too many misplacements of heads and hands on these blocks for it to just be one or two bad players or one or two bad plays. It's happened too many times to where you have to really ask, how are you coaching it?
Yeah.
When it's, I say this all the time, when it's one guy plays bad, okay. Two guys play bad, okay. When it's all of them that are doing this, you have to go and look at the coach and say, what are you teaching?
Yeah.
Because your guys' heads are on the wrong side all the damn time.
I mean, if I had access to LSU's film, I would go watch individual drills right now. I just want to know what they're being taught, what they're doing. Where like the first 15 minutes of practice was hat and hand placement. That's what we did. You got in your stance, hat and hands. You made sure that it was muscle memory on knowing the play and where to get.
It's just it's a little bit frustrating. Now let's talk about something positive that you saw in the film. Ori Williams.
Yes.
The red right tackle.
Shocking. Don't know how he just got into the game. Probably played with the best technique out of either one of the tackles all year. Great pad level. There's things to work on, but for a guy that I haven't seen all year long get in the second half, I don't believe he gave up a pressure. Things looked a lot cleaner on the right side than they have all year. and he just played with good pad level. He didn't get his shoulder pads north and south. He didn't get his feet in the wrong place. He didn't cross his feet. He played with sound technique.
We have to give him credit for that, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to criticize him for the guys that are playing bad, you have to give him credit for it. So, what makes him special? How did he get to this point playing and go into against Alabama? Okay, we're not talking about
a good high school
the Southeastern game, you know.
I mean, he was taught well in high school. I mean, and I'm not trying to bash on that, but he had a fundamental base that looked like he had been doing things the right way for a while.
That's interesting. And not at this point, I'm sorry, not terribly surprising.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We're here at Ruffino's. We are also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, coastalcapitaladv.com. Talk to Phil Fontenot and his staff. You're setting up retirement. You want to have more information about your retirement. You want to feel good, secure in your retirement. Let them do for you what they have done for us, which is set up a plan that makes sense for you. Everyone's different. Every situation is different. Where you are in life, your age, your income level, what your goals are, what you hope to achieve, when you hope to retire. They'll go through that. They'll make out a lifetime plan, build that relationship with you so you can feel comfortable, the peace of mind that comes to knowing you are secure in your retirement. CoastalCapitalADV.com to set up an appointment. CoastalCapitalADV.com. Member FINRA SIPC. Live at lunch from Ruffino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Ruffino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Also brought to you by the Morris Insurance Group. They urge you to look again if you're looking for insurance on your coastal properties. You're looking for flood insurance, duck camps, fishing camps, all your big boy toys, your boats, your trailers, motorcycles, your RVs. Let Buzzy Heidel and all the folks over at the Morris Insurance Group help you out. You can get a quote online free, morris-ig.com, morris-ig.com, or call 225-201-0007. That's 225-201-0007 for the Morris Insurance Group for auto, homeowners, and commercial insurance as well. The Morris Insurance Group. Let's talk about defensively what LSU's looking at here. Rich, they've looked at some running quarterbacks, some guys that have given them some problems. Certainly Diego Pavia was a big problem at Vanderbilt. Taylor Green is, I've always called him a very dangerous quarterback. He is fast. Yeah. I think of all the quarterbacks that they've faced, he may be the fastest. He's not as thick as Lenore Sellers. He's not as elusive maybe as Diego Pavia as far as maybe putting a move on people. But, man, he can run.
He's big, strong, fast, can run. He's the biggest, the scariest threat to me as a running quarterback. And they score a lot of points. I mean, that offense isn't the problems that, Arkansas. It's not Arkansas's issue. It is the defense. And it's a thing that scares me, especially not having Witt. I feel like when we have a Witt and a Perkins out there with their speed and athleticism, I mean, they cover it a lot. I mean, they can get to the outside edges. When you got one of them, it just makes me a little bit more nervous.
Yeah, and in weeks, they're saying game time decision, so okay. Here's the difference to me with Green. A lot of quarterbacks can scramble out, and they're fast. They get you first down, get out of bounds, whatever. This guy's capable of going 60 yards, more than most running quarterbacks. Who could, like Diego Pavia, get you a bunch of first downs, and he did rip off a couple of long runs against LSU, including the 30-yarder for the touchdown, whatever it was. This guy can take it 60 or 70 if you're not careful.
Not a Jaden Daniels, but he can break a play like a Jaden Daniels and take one to where nobody's catching him.
There's some Jaden Daniels to the running aspect of his game, and he's got a big arm. He's not always the most accurate, but he's got got plenty of arm.
He's a guy that can get the ball down the field. Those type of quarterbacks are tough to play man in. I mean, it makes you have to change some things that you do.
Well, what are they going to play against him then?
Yeah, I mean, you can play a man with a spy or keep somebody in the hole. But when you were asking guys to turn their back to the quarterback, he's the guy that makes you a little bit nervous.
Let's talk about the spy because we talk about the spy a lot. This is my opinion of using the spy with Perkins after 3 years and 9 games. Perkins is a lousy spy.
Yeah.
If he was a real spy, they'd have caught him under the bridge. Okay, they would have caught him and captured him because he gets distracted.
Yeah, his eyes get lost. He gets his head in the wrong side, and I think when they play great is when they have like a two spy where you're spying to this side of the field. You're playing zone coverage, but if the quarterback rolls out this way, you got him. If he rolls out that way, you got him, and it cuts the field in half.
You feel comfortable doing that without Weeks on the field?
No, that's with Weeks in the game.
Okay, so without Weeks in the game,
I don't know. It's a tough one.
what do you do at that point?
I let the other Weeks maybe run the spy.
Okay. You played at a time when Bobby Petrino was kind of in his heyday, okay? It was at the height of his play calling. What about his offenses, his play calling, has made him successful?
It was just he was quick to the spreading it out, getting the ball deep, having a lot of athletes on the field, playing fast. I mean, it's what football – I don't think what Bobby Petrino does is anything special today with the way football's gone, but he was one of the guys to do it early.
And how has it evolved? What's different now about it?
Now I think it's just what he's done is he's added to what a lot of people are doing is when he's best with a mobile quarterback. Because when you have these guys that are great athletes on the outside that are going deep, stretching the field, it opens up the field for a QB run to where you can't make a mistake. You have to be sound up front in your rush lanes and your drops, and then you have to cover them downfield because if you get guys with their eyes wandering and you get a cornerback that maybe is running a crossing route and sees Green leaving and he thinks that he's got to make that play and he comes off his guy, then Green dumps it over the top.
All right, that's the football part of this. Let's get your psychologist hat on again, all right? Lots happened here the last few weeks. They're back in the stadium now. Last SEC game at home. You got 3 games left of the season. Coach has been gone for a couple of weeks now. The sugar high, the little adrenaline push that you get from the new coach, they've gotten a little bit used to this for you. Where's their head tomorrow? Again. And I'm not expecting you to be able to answer that completely accurately. I'm asking for your opinion.
No, in my opinion, the game's different. When we were playing, we were going to be here next year. Like it is something we had to figure out. So your motivations were different. Let's get things right and have a good attitude going into spring workouts in summer. Let's work on a few things. We're not going to do anything this year, but let's start playing some guys that were all coming back next year. Let's figure out what's going on. Now the way I think of it is almost like a player in free agency and more NFL-wise where, I'm playing for my next team or, I don't know where I'm going to go next year. But I know the better things I put on film, the better tape I have, the things that I can go do great make me more valuable and I have different options.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I look at it too is everybody's auditioning. It used to be you were auditioning for this staff, but now it's you're auditioning for – every staff.
130-something teams.
All right, so So now that ensures they're going to play hard. Does that ensure that they're going to play together?
No, I mean that's also,
harder.
You talk about guys on bad NFL teams and they're playing for their contract. Is when you start doing things selfishly. You start leaving your assignment to make the big play, to try to do something that puts your name out there and get the highlight, and that's the big concern. And I don't know if these guys are. I don't know where the mindset's changed. Are they thinking the way I think as an NFL player now as college kids? Probably. I mean, that's probably some of the things that they're being told. But I also know it's about respect. And I feel like these guys really love Blake Baker. I feel like they play hard for him. And I feel
he was more than a little frustrated last week.
Oh, that's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
And I think that, if there's a guy like Bo Pelini could do it back in the day, that you start it gets back. You kind of split up the team, but he takes over that defense and say, "Guys, I don't give a damn what's happening over there, what's happening over here. We're playing for this."
Pelini 1.0, not 2.0. Yeah.
And we're going to go out there and bust our ass and be the best defense out there, guys. I can't tell you, you can't worry about what the offense is going to do. I mean, that's none of our concern and nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. But we got to go out there and, be the best we can be. And all it does is if we have bad offensive plays and we stay on the field, we got to keep making plays.
The next part of the psychological games at 11:45 tomorrow morning. We got hunting season.
Yeah.
It is open.
So they do that segment with Matt and Hester in the morning. They do the guess the ticket prices.
Yeah.
Have you seen what the lowest game is?
No, but I'm sure it's
LSU Arkansas.
Is it
$6 a ticket?
$6. Okay. I think a reasonable approximation of what's going to be in the stadium tomorrow at kickoff is somewhere around 70,000. That's just, it's.
I was going to say 65 to 70% full.
Yeah, and that puts you in that 60 to 70,000 range. If I'm off 5,000, if I'm off 8,000, there's going to be a lot of empty seats tomorrow. Under the best of circumstances, they don't like playing in the morning. And when I say they, I mean the fans. I don't mean the players. So you got to come back. The band's going to be there. They're going to play pregame. It's going to come over the loudspeaker. Here come your Fighting Tigers of LSU. And they're going to go out there, and about a quarter to a third of the stadium's going to be empty.
Yeah, it's tough. This is where it comes up with what type of locker room do you have? Where's the leadership at? We love fans, but I can talk trash about fans too. Nothing. The amount of times when I played, we got booed off the field after a bad half. So the fan, you love the fans. You want them there when they're good.
They were booing less, weren't you?
Yeah, whatever.
Hard to tell the difference.
It's hard to tell when you're all walking into that locker room. But you got to have somebody in there that you galvanize around. Block out the noise. It's all cliche, but it's what happens. You get in there and you're like, screw them. I don't care about them. Don't worry about them. It's about you. It's about me. It's about the guy next to you. And let's go out there and try to put something together.
You think that's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the offense, you change the quarterback, it changes little things. I think that they can go out there with a different style to go try to do something different. This day and age just throws me off. I don't know because I don't know how many guys are already talking to their agents or their supporters about
all of them.
Yeah, next year.
I'll save you all of them.
Yeah, and so that's when I start guessing: are they having those conversations in the locker room?
Doesn't mean they're all leaving it, but are they? Who's having those conversations? Yeah. All of them.
Is it me and you? We're all I don't know how the psyche works for that in this day and age. I know how it would for me. I feel like the money is the money, whatever. But I hate my passion or hatred for losing. I could block that out. I could get focused, but can you get everybody that way?
If I'm a player and I've got an agent, they all do. The first, you were a player. I don't have. Let me ask you first, because I know what I would do if I was a player. What I would be asking. What would you ask your agent right now? If you had eligibility left and you were on this team, what would you ask your agent?
Where's the number? But
okay.
And personally for me, you're asking me. I know what would have happened in my situation. I would have never talked to them. This would have been a conversation between my dad and them.
Sure.
I'd have been left out of this whole conversation. My dad played college football. He understands it. He would not allow that conversation for me to be involved in those conversations. He knows where my focus needs to be, and I trust my dad. He's going to go make the best decision for me.
Okay, for those whose fathers weren't football players or college football players.
I think that you say, go get the number. That's what it's about at this point. And then you get a number from LSU, and you compare. Is the money worth leaving, or is it close enough to where I want to stay? Yeah. Or am I tired of this? Did I come here and this went so poorly? I just want the hell out of Baton Rouge.
And so your agent calls you and says, Richard, how do you feel about Oregon? How do you feel about living in Oregon? Or how do you feel about living in North Carolina or
that'd be a lot of money.
Florida? Well, I'm just using that as an example. My question to the agent would be, who do you think the coach is going to be here? Because agents talk, and look, 90% of the information out there is BS, okay? I know this about silly season, okay? There's two things. Number one, most of the information put out there is bogus. It's put out there on purpose by agents, athletic directors, even coaches themselves and players. It's put out there to distract you from what is actually happening. That's the first thing. So, anybody goes, look, I'm going to tell you this. This is what I heard. And it is what they heard. They're not lying to you.
Smoke screen.
Just not right, okay? And then the second thing is that things change. And I make this point every time there's a coaching search, something that is right is correct, 100% accurate on Tuesday may not be that way on Friday because offers change, situations change, all of these things. Most of the time what happens is an offer gets upped or extended or an offer you didn't think would be out there. Something happened. So it changes. So whenever you say, well, you said 2 weeks ago that so-and-so was out. Well, 2 weeks ago they were out. Now they're back in again because this number went up or something. So that's what you have to – that's what you have to take into account, I think, when you go into coach. I would want to know what my agent was here. It's like, hey, who do you think is going to be coach here? Is that going to work for me?
Yeah.
That going to be – can I stay here or do I need to start packing right now? And you can ask your coaches too, but
they don't.
I don't – do you think Frank Wilson knows who the next head coach at LSU is going to be?
Nope.
I think he's got an idea. I mean, Frank's pretty well connected, but I don't think anybody knows for sure right now.
Just to what you said, we could have had that conversation with, just say, Lane, with the big name, okay, and he was happy with our conversation. That's the number that he was good at. He goes home and 2 days later, Ole Miss finds out something. He's like, they up it. Okay, so he told us Tuesday he was good with that. I agree. That's perfect. That's what I want. Well, now, 48 hours later, things have changed.
That's Jimmy Sexton doing his job.
Yeah.
Very, very good at it. We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing. Total Maintenance, your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. South Louisiana's oldest and largest heating company since 1980. Their slogan has been service today, every day, so you never have to go to sleep uncomfortable. They're in the New Orleans area as well as Baton Rouge with full-service staffs in both markets. An authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units. Generac and Cummings generators for all your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Live at lunch here from Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Couple minutes left with Richard Dixon. By the way, you're taking tomorrow off. That was prearranged. Okay, so no matter what happens.
I have some Arkansas fans with me. I got the Arkansas side of the family coming in town.
Okay, so you had two, before the season started, you had 2 games that you couldn't do. Tomorrow is the second one.
Yep.
Rohan Davey is going to sit in with me on post game. So
You know how upset I am? Like, out of all the games, the 11 o'clock game is the one I'm going to take off?
This is the one
I would.
We're going to be finished
right
for
now.
like 6:30, 6:45. Right.
I might cancel.
You picked. So you're going to be off tomorrow. But Texas and Georgia, who you like?
Man, I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm going Georgia.
You got Georgia.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay. I think Oklahoma's got a good shot to go in there and beat them.
I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
But I think Ty Simpson's playing as good as any quarterback out there right now.
You're going to find Mississippi State one more win?
Oh, man. Beat Ole Miss. Please just beat Ole Miss.
All right. We're back with hour number 2. Richard, have a good weekend. Hour number 2 here at Rufino's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And return here at Rufino's Live at Lunch. Combine CS Restaurant is now open. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Beautiful day, man.
It is. It'll be supposed to be like this tomorrow morning, right about this time when they're getting ready to kick off. Won't be terribly long from now.
Yeah. Weather's nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got that going for you.
It'll be about 70 degrees at the Queen. So,
well,
for
you to watch all of the games. I've
been out of my sorts, man. I got to hunker down and get back to my office. I love that when I get into my Go Chevrolet Tahoe and it's basically a computer as a display, and it just comes up by, I guess, your tendencies, and it GPS comes up. Work, the Queen. That's my office, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
That's where you got to go.
Don't judge.
I'm
putting in research.
I'm not. I am trying really hard to get into a positive frame of mind today.
Oh, what's wrong with you now? You
Well,
had plus 12.5 or minus 13.5 last night.
Neither.
Okay.
I had 13. So
Okay.
I wasted a lot of time watching it just last night. I actually spent a lot more time watching Alabama and Purdue.
Didn't you think they were going to get in? It was fall 6.
No.
No, you didn't really.
No, but that's my defeatist attitude at that point, and spent my whole night.
What's up, Mr. Curtis? How you doing? Barry's got you all set up over here.
I thought I had dodged a bullet when they missed a field goal at the end of the first half, which was a makeable field goal, I think 48 yards. So I felt like, okay, I'm chasing these 3 points the whole day. No, the reason I was trying to get into a good mood, it's Friday, the weather's nice and all that stuff. But then I got up and, pour my coffee, turn the computer on, start reading, prepping for the show, and I read Jeff Duncan's article this morning.
I got you.
Threw up my coffee.
Yeah, that's
the makings of what was going to be a really nice omelet. I just threw that out because I didn't want to eat anymore. This absolutely.
You don't listen to yourself. You've been telling me. Practice what you preach. You've been counseling me. But this is not yesterday. This is for how long? 18 months?
At least. It's the finality of it.
I got you. You had to see it in black and white. You had to see her quoted publicly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it just
basically her doubling or tripling down. Is that right? Is that fair?
Yes, it continues the beat down because every now I know what I said and I meant it and I get all that, but I do allow myself some. I want to be optimistic. Just some hope in the back of my head somewhere. Sometimes it's like, hang on a second. Like last year when she fired Dennis Allen. When she fired Dennis Allen, I allowed myself a brief moment of hope because, like, hang on, she knows the dome's going to be empty, so she got rid of the coach. So maybe if things really crater bad, she'll understand that Mickey's done. That Mickey Loomis has to be removed from his position for this franchise to move forward. Maybe the fourth year is enough. Maybe the fifth year is enough. I mean, how many years do you have to be removed from Sean Payton and Drew Brees to understand that they were carrying this guy? And
he gets credit for them.
Well, according to her, didn't you read that?
No, I did not read it.
Okay, so
I read the headline.
Then let me.
Do we have to?
Let me discuss you because in the interest of. The public service of the information here. Jeff Duncan did this little piece with Gayle Benson, who said calling for demands to fire Mickey Loomis are, quote, ridiculous. She strongly backed the Saints GM, saying she holds him in, quoting, high esteem and is pleased with his work. Quote, it may not be what the fans want to hear, but as far as firing Mickey Loomis, that's ridiculous. He does a great job. I had to check this thing to make sure it wasn't AI.
Go continue.
You don't think Mickey Loomis is losing sleep at night over all this? He is. It's hard. It's not an easy job. It's not like he's sitting on his butt not worrying about things. Mickey is one of the longest tenured and most respected general managers in the NFL. He was the lone voice in our building to hire Sean Payton. When I'm asked to hold Mickey Loomis accountable, I do. Not every decision works out. They never do. I hold him in high esteem, and I am very pleased with what he has accomplished, acquired, and is building. I understand how fans feel, but Mickey said this from the very beginning of the season that we're in a rebuilding mode. First of all, I never heard him say that. And I feel bad for the fans, but we told everybody in the beginning this was going to be a tough year, and it's been a tough year. Okay, first of all, Loomis never said the R word, okay? He just doesn't do that. He was drug into this rebuild, kicking and screaming when Derek Carr retired. Otherwise, he'd still have the shovel and he'd still be digging. But this is
It's
beyond
delusional.
Beyond
it's delusional.
sobering.
It's detached. It's compromised, and she got to be in the conversation for worst owners in professional sports now.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it's just the way it is, you know.
And we understand her as a person.
Thank you for your charitable works.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
it. But no, as far as an owner, you are, and you got two of the worst teams in their leagues. And no, when you're going to come double, triple, quadruple down with those idiotic statements, detached, inaccurate. No, you're sorry. It's on you now. So, what do Saints fans want to do? I think the fans fired a GM recently.
Yeah, in Dallas.
Okay, so show up, protest. You know, with your signs, get your chants going, whatever. Throw your airplanes, go back to the old days,
Or
well,
don't go.
Oh well. Don't pay for the tickets, but
Yeah.
they sell them to the secondary market,
Right.
and that's why you got when the Lions come to town, you've got more fans there. When the 49ers come to town, you got more fans. So the secondary market has kept that sellout streak going. It's and now Tyler Shuck he wins a game against Carolina, scored whopping 17 points. I mean, they lit up the scoreboard like a pinball machine, and well now you got hope, and you got it. They're so starving. That is it. Joe Montana, John Elway, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I mean, what are we talking about? Tyler Shuck.
The birth of the new Patrick Mahomes.
How's Carolina's defense? Huh? Sorry, Miss Gayle.
And you're doing the same thing to the Pelicans.
This is garbage.
You brought in a GM who has made two of the most disastrous looking trades. And I'll be fair. Derek Queen looks, like he is an NBA player, a talented player that can give him some. It does not absolve those two trades that they have made, which would have them at the top of the draft board. Your team is at the bottom of both of these leagues. You have one coach that is so overdue to be fired, it's not even funny. So on the basketball side, and you brought in management that has run this in the ground.
So I want to criticize your counseling practice on me for trying to, calm me down for a year and a half or 2 years, whatever it's been. And, when I would just poo-poo all over you trying to talk to Saints.
Doctor is.
But I got the psychology degree. But I will admit, you're kind of from the Jimmy Ott School of Parenting. Son, do as I say, not as I've done.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and anyway, screw the Saints, man. I'm sorry. I've been trying to tell you this screw them, screw the Pelicans this is man, to hell with these teams, man.
As far as them winning, I would prefer not to completely ignore the NFL and the NBA
what
team
is
that
your
are 70 yards down
famous,
the
your best? I quote you when I do a national show. I said in the words of my buddy Charlie Hannegriff, weak at the all-important position of ownership.
Yeah.
That's yours. That's an original.
Yeah.
I think they put it right next to that historic French battle scene with Napoleon in the Louvre that we went to. Right, much more powerful than that little piece of crap, the Mona Lisa. Oh, that was disappointing. But anyway, they're just how can they're not even worthy of conversation. I'm sorry, if Jeff Landry, can he be GM? We wake up and we get a new surprise out of our Louisiana leaders. Almost content. Well, you short for content? How do you get content in a mid-major market like Baton Rouge? Here we go.
I can remember feeling sorry for markets that I had absolutely no allegiance to. I remember when the Padres sold off their entire team in the early 90s when they were starting to get good. They sold off Gary Sheffield and Kevin Brown and Fred McGriff and all those guys. As soon as they got good, I remember the Marlins, okay, they sold off everything.
Yeah.
Of course, they won a title, two of them, actually.
I sit there and watch,
15
people in the stands at Marlins games,
and
they're not bad.
I'm like, God, I feel so bad for those teams. Their owners just absolutely do not want to win. I mean, at least, with most ownerships, like they want to win. They're just they don't know how to do it.
These
guys don't want to win.
These are the Saints that I grew up with.
Yeah,
These
me
are
too.
the pre-Jim Finks era.
John Meekum.
Yeah, whoever involved. When John Meekum told Buddy Diliberto, he said, "We're 3 players away." Oh, really? The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Yeah. From going to Super Bowl. I mean, it's
when my uncle took me to games when I was a little boy, when Meekum owned the Saints, and I would get disappointed after the games. And he would say, "Son, you have to understand, they'll never be good until Meekum's gone."
I used to criticize the Saints fans for their I guess blind loyalty. Mm-hmm. They didn't care if they were served a plate of crap. They were just gladly paying and tipping. Here's extra 20 for the chef. I mean, this pile of crap was really delicious. So, but they are creative. The Bags, the Aints, the Hoot. They are creative. If the Saints fans can come up with creative ways to display their protests of this doubling down of Mickey Loomis, if anybody's creative, it's the Saints fans. I mean, I don't know, some kind of bag with Mickey Loomis. I mean, whatever it is. Well, the Pope in the end zone. He's got some, R.I.P. Mickey. I mean, I don't know. They're better than me at this. I mean, they are. One thing about them, they are creative, and the fans fired Nico. They didn't want to do it. They weren't going to do it. Right. They had enough. And they fired him. So the fans still have a voice. Ultimately, but the tickets are paid for this year, Charlie.
Yeah.
They're paid for this year. Now, when they might not sell out the season tickets next year.
Well, but is it not a powerful visual to see a ton of empty seats? I mean, at LSU a couple of weeks ago when everybody cleared out in the second half and the Aggie fans, made their way over to the student section.
I know that's apples and oranges because the short of it is, okay, now we got to pay our talent. Well, I'd love that. Business model where we don't have to pay our talent or our labor. Okay, well now college football in the big business, you got to pay. So who do they push it off on? They push it off on their paying customers, their boosters, and their season ticket holders. And so you're asking more of the boosters, they demand more. Oh well, that's why they're firing left and right. I mean, this is impossible to give everybody more. It's just impossible. There's not enough wins. So, but this is a completely different deal. That's why I compare it to the Maverick situation where they just had to toss people left and right. They didn't care. I paid for my ticket. I don't care if I see 2 seconds. I'm starting my chant. Yeah. I'm going on. I'm on a kiss cam, and then I'm putting my fire Nico. I'm doing whatever I need to do to protest. And so those tickets are paid for. So the empty seats this year aren't. They still matter, but I don't think as powerful as are the college fans. I mean, I think that you just saw they protest, they embarrassed them, they got on TV, they got on SportsCenter, and they embarrassed the organization to the point where, all right, they win.
That's more powerful. I agree, but I wouldn't discount if they show up for games in December and there's 30,000 people in the dome. 25,000. That's a pretty powerful visual too.
Oh, boycott? Yeah, give them one of them Tiger Stadium crowds. Remember that?
Yes.
My man Frenchie, the artist, my favorite artist in New Orleans. I said, what is this guy doing? I didn't know it was him at the time. It was Tampa Bay game. And we're just stretched out. We're lounged out, me and Roscoe, and the 50-yard line. His plays there. My man's got an easel. I was like, what is he doing? And he puts out his paints. He had so much room. He did a painting in the middle of an NFL game on the 50-yard line. I was like, Frenchie. I said, man, I love your stuff.
Very nice vintage.
I go to Giacomo's all the time. I see all your paintings, man. I love it, man, on Oak Street. It's like, oh, yeah. He's just doing a little painting. And everybody left him alone. It's like he's in Jackson Square.
Art class.
Do Frenchie, let's clear out the entire plaza section, let him do a painting.
They keep it up like this, won't be hard.
Live here at Ruffino's, our weekend features this week. Soup features. How about a little cauliflower soup with the yellow curry, roasted cauliflower with a chili crunch, herb oil. Appetizer features today. Louisiana crab cake with an orange beurre blanc, fennel melliton slaw, like my grandma used to say. It's spelled Merliton. It's pronounced Melliton. Italian meatballs, Ruffino's red gravy, truffle oil, basil, and St. Bruno focaccia. The St. Bruno's catching some steam. Good for you, man. Local bakery here. The entree features here the butter steak, grilled ribeye cap, hello Charlie, mashed potatoes, sweet chili, Brussels sprouts, red wine, demi-glace reduction, Macera. The wine pairing, the Duckhorn Cabernet out of Napa Valley. And the red snapper, Louisiana red snapper with a crawfish makshu, sauteed green beans. Suggested wine pairing is a Peychaud Chardonnay out of Napa. Speaking of the Patriots, our buddy's got some tickets. Now, look, he has a lot of tickets on futures, but he's got some live ones with the New England Patriots.
Best record in the league. Live
Go
at
Pats.
Live
Maybe
at
the coach of the
Lock
year,
of the Week
baby.
Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So, Charlie, I'm going to correct you again. This is where you tell me, get my ass back to Tuscaloosa and let Macero go undefeated again. Okay?
Well, I thought it was implied.
Chris.
You should know better.
Well done while I'm mingling and barbecuing for my kid and trying to clean up his damn room and whatever. Just enjoying the atmosphere in Tuscaloosa. So how you doing, buddy? Well job. Good job last week.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that's what Parents' Weekend is for. You got to, go over there and, remind him that his room should be clean, his bed should be made, and, just making sure it's everything's on the up and up over there in Tuscaloosa.
So, Chris, I marinate 150 wings, 48 hours, keep them chilled on the way there, grilling on his patio, whatever, and then, man, look, I had to go to the restroom. Ethan's room's right there. I come out, I'm like, dude, what hurricane came through here? Mr. Jimmy, he was so worried, boy. He cleaned up. He made sure he cleaned up. I said, this is clean? I said, you got to be kidding me.
They sent me a picture of Jimmy with a toilet brush.
You got to be kidding me with this. Boy, keep making good grades. That's your only defense. So, anyway.
I'm having flashbacks of when I was in school, and I can just remember how disgusting everything was, and I could never possibly even remotely think about going back to living like that. But it somehow, some way, we got it done. And I guess when you're just younger, you just don't care.
Apparently so, and I don't want to be guilty, but I'm trying to jog my memory. I don't think it was that bad. But anyway. So, listen, you got a couple of losing tickets out there in futures, but you got some really live ones that you can make up for a lot of losers or really get you a nice little chunk. We just missed on crochet. I was down in Ocean Springs territory over the last weekend. As expected, Scuba wins. So we come up just a little bit short of the ticket we made on the fly while we were watching games at the Win, and I bet everything on the board and then some. But anyway, tell us what you got. You got some real live ones involving your home team, the Patriots.
I didn't go crazy, but when I come out in the summer to Vegas, I look at the market, I look at the conferences, I figure what team has value based on everyone betting Ohio State or everyone betting Penn State and everyone betting Georgia. So you're going to just take a stand against the teams, and it doesn't mean you're going to win because I'm a big guy. I know you are a big guy in doing this too. You like to hedge. So I actually bet 8 teams for the College Football National Championship, and 6 of them are still alive, which is crazy. Clemson is out, Baylor is out, those 2 are out. But I do have a ticket on Oklahoma that's still alive this week going against Alabama. Maybe they get the win. Maybe that gets them into the playoffs. I have future parlays, all over the place with Alabama. We have Texas A&M at a decent number. I think we're at, I want to say 60-1 on Texas A&M. I have 100-1 on Oklahoma. I have Texas Tech 200-1. Even Cincinnati, which is still hanging around at 2,000-1. If they can somehow get to the title game, they can win out. They're favored this week. They got BYU next week. If they win those 2 games, they could get a matchup with Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. So that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for some crazy value. I'm mad at myself for not having more money on the Texas Tech ticket at 200-1, but it is a nice ticket to have. They look strong. I'm a little concerned about Morton limping around with a stress fracture in his leg. But, there's some moves to be made if I can get enough teams into the playoff. Alabama, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, maybe sneaking Oklahoma in there. maybe sneak Cincinnati. And, of course, we have the Duke ticket at 1,000 to 1 from before the season. If they can still win out, they still have a chance to, get to that ACC title game. And if they get there, we'll be 100% hedging right off the bat.
And Charlie, these are tickets in 5 years ago. I give no chance before Indiana proved that they can win. And Vanderbilt, they control their own destiny to get to the playoff, really? I mean, it seems that way, huh?
We think that any SEC team that wins 10 games in the
so,
regular season is going to be in the playoff.
Now we Texas Tech. I mean, no, it's not. It didn't take 3 years to get this going with Double Eagle Oil Company. It's now. It's immediate.
Well, how many of those teams would have had a realistic chance, even at this point in the season, of getting into a 14 playoff?
Yeah. But Chris, what about your Patriots? Though, don't you have May to win MVP?
So what happened was I was at Circa about 6 weeks ago. It was a Wednesday before the Buffalo game, and I got invited to go on Stormy's show. And I don't like going on someone's show the first time without having something interesting to give the audience. So the night before, I was digging up some information on May and Josh Allen, and what I thought was crazy based on the schedule, and we've seen it come to fruition with the Patriots really having pretty easy schedule, although they do have 2 nice road wins over Buffalo and Tampa. But if you just looked at the way the schedule mapped out and the way the stats looked, I said to myself, Drake May has the same amount of passing yards, 1 less touchdown, and 1 more rushing touchdown than Josh Allen. But for some reason, Josh Allen was minus 130 for the MVP, and Drake May was 95 to 1. So before I went on the show, I didn't make a huge bet, but like a little less than $200 bet on Drake May at 95 to 1. And I took the Patriots before that Buffalo game at 13 to 1 for division, gave it out on the show, and the rest is history. The Patriots haven't lost since, and now they're sizable favorites for the division. Drake May's head and head with Stafford for MVP. I think if the season ended today, Stafford would get it, but because I have a 95 to 1 ticket, I've been taking pieces of Stafford over the last 4 weeks.
There you go.
So even if Stafford does win, I'm still going to be a winner. That's why if you can find value at a certain time in the market, you can turn that ticket, even if it doesn't win, into a big winner just based on the odds.
All right, May plus 235 at our friends at the Queen DraftKings outlet. Stafford plus 250 after last night's game. Coach of the year, Mike Vrabel, even money. He and Shane Steichen were going into last weekend were basically 1 and 1A co-favorites, but Vrabel pulls away a little bit.
Wasn't he available to be hired last year as a head coach somewhere?
That's one of Max's favorite quotes. Famous quotes. Now, Max, all these futures, you were with me in Las Vegas during that weekend.
Yes.
Did Chris give us any of these?
I did not hear any of them.
No, he put me on some kind of crazy crap that's already ripped my ticket. I mean, for Labor Day, huh? Where were all these picks then, huh, Max?
I remember
these bets were made in July. These bets were made in July. You get there early.
Still available
that's where
in August.
I got.
They were still available in August, Chris.
Listen, I know Pavi is not going to win the Heisman, but it was a fun run at 300 to 1, and being at the game a couple weeks ago when he came all the way from 300 to 1 to 7 to 1. It's just you got to take some shots. Betting the favorite I can't even think of the guy's name. Drew Aller to win the Heisman. I mean, my God, Arch Manning. My God, what fun was that?
Yeah, that was right when that guy sent his girl over to chill and to get you preoccupied so he could steal both of your phones. Huh? So anyway, let's get to your picks. Come on, let's go. Let's put out some winners again.
All right, first bet I made in the college board on Sunday was under Bama, Oklahoma, 47. I think we're at 46 now. I still like it. Bama's defense, for as much as the malign running game is, their defense has really stepped it up lately. 12th in points, 17.2, 13th in yards, 31st in yards per play. The last 3 games, 4.6 yards a play, and last week versus LSU, 3.8, which would put them number 2 in the country. Opposition red zone scoring, 6th best in the country, so it's really tough to get in there once they get to the red zone. We know Oklahoma's got the great defense, 9th in points, 7th in yards, 4th in yards per play. Bama struggles to run, so I'm not sure where the point. I just feel like this is going to be a low-scoring, drag 'em out type of game. Both defenses are playing well. The one concern I have where it could go over, but I hope it doesn't, obviously, because I'm on the under, is that one game where Oklahoma played Ole Miss. Ole Miss really lit it up through the year, 431 total yards, 315 passes, 3 longer passes of 43, 31, and 25. So I think the Sooners' back end is a little susceptible to the pass, and obviously they got some weapons on Oklahoma. But I really think both defenses playing well. I like this game to go under.
All right, it's 45.5 right now at DraftKings currently, and on the DraftKings outlet, our friends at the Queen. Next.
Okay, we're going with Pittsburgh. The whole world is on Notre Dame. I know this game went from 10.5 up to all the way to 13, 12.5. But I'm sticking with Pittsburgh. I bet it at a bad number, 10.5. I bet it at 12. I bet it at 12.5. And I still like Pittsburgh. Notre Dame's two best teams they played this year, Miami and A&M. They lost both games. Their road wins are against a hapless Arkansas and BC team. In the BC game, they struggled. Last week, they played Navy without Horvath. The USC game was a toss-up game a couple weeks ago. Easily could have lost that game. I'm just not so sure how good this Notre Dame team is. I said it before. I know they have an elite offense. They have Jeremiah Love. They've been running the ball really well. But look at this Pittsburgh team coming off a bye with the fourth best run defense in the country, only 2.5 yards per rush. Overall, 13th in yards per play at 4.6. Mason Heinschel's been awesome as a freshman quarterback since week 6, 150 and a 180 for 1,514 yards, 12 touchdowns. He does turn it over a bunch, 5 interceptions in that span, but I really like this kid as a freshman. And off the bye, you figure he should have some new things into the game plan. They're scoring 37 points a game, 423 yards per game, 30th in the country. And Pitt's 7 wins. They have 2 losses, both when they were up by 10 points in the fourth quarter to West Virginia and Louisville. This Pitt team could easily be undefeated. I like Pittsburgh to hang within the number here.
Heinz 5-0 straight up and against the spread since he's taken over. All right, quickly, Chris, your other 3.
Okay, I'm going under Texas Tech, UCF. This line's gone against me a little. It was 48.5, went down to 48. I saw 49 at Circa last night. Texas Tech's defense speaks for itself. And like I said, Morton, I think something's a little bit wrong. That I don't think they're going to push him too much in this game. They obviously needed the BYU game. I could see Hammond coming in for a few series, maybe give Morton a little rest. UCF plays slow, doesn't score much. They got a decent defense, too. Texas Tech, number 2 in points, 4 yards per play. I like this game to stay under the total.
Get in and out, under 48.5, currently the price at DraftKings. Continue.
Okay, 2 totals we're going to go over. NC State, Miami. Miami 31st in points, 31.1 points a game. I think Miami's going to try to get a little more style points, and this is the perfect team to do it against. NC State's D the last 3 games has given up 36 to Georgia Tech, even in a win, 53 to Pitt, 36 to Notre Dame. They also gave up 45 to Duke earlier in the year. They're 119th in points given up, 454 yards per game. That's 127th, and 126 yards per play. NC State defense is terrible. They can score a little bit too, and I think Miami's going to try to get some style points to move them up the rankings if, in fact, they get to a point where they can maybe get in that lodge if they win out. They got the Notre Dame win. I know people are saying Notre Dame in over them, but let's see if Miami can get some style points, and I like the over in this game, over 55.
55.5 right now at DraftKings. Your final pick.
Okay, one more. Let's go down to where you guys are at. LSU, Arkansas. This game looks like an old-fashioned shootout. Arkansas defense is abysmal, 127th in points per game, 128th in yards, 123rd in yards per play. And Arkansas's offense is elite, 7.1 yards per play. And I saw an elite offense in Vandy go through this LSU defense a few weeks ago. And without Weeks, who's a game-time decision, I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. They're not sure if, Nussmeier's got the torso injury. Van Buren looked like a little bit of a spark last week. I think he plays a little bit faster. I can just see this game being a shootout, perfect weather conditions. Let's go over the total in LSU, Arkansas.
You said 7 yards per play for Arkansas? Is that right?
4th in the country, 7.1 yards per play. 4th, elite offense.
Yes, wow. I mean, damn. That's Bobby Petrino. First ballot Hall of Fame scumbag, but first ballot Hall of Fame play designer. I mean, you can do both. Did Chris say LSU offensive shootout, Charlie? He said it, right? Okay.
I heard that.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all week at Arkansas, and it's not even close to second in the league, the worst defense in the league. Chris, good job, buddy, and good luck to you, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you, buddy.
All right, I'll talk to you Sunday.
All right, don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Ashley, Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie, and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses but you. Choose our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Rufino's. Log of the Week Friday. Tex Morris, Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
All right, before we get into Troy, Charlie, I know you wanted to recap because we were going quick with Massaro, his 5-pack, coming off an undefeated week.
Oklahoma and Alabama under 45.5. Pitt plus 12.5. Texas Tech and UCF under 48.5. NC State is over 55.5. And LSU Arkansas over 57.5.
All right, Troy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on.
One-way traffic last night with the Patriots?
Yes, very much so. It was.
And what lines? What lines?
And pretty
how
much
did the lines
one
adjust?
way. There was a little bit. It wasn't like super overwhelming on the spread line, like not in the high 80s, but I think kickoff it was in the high 70s on spread money, and outright money was in the 90s, and we took a ton of it. Thursday night is a very healthy night of betting handle for pro football. And with the way the Patriots have been playing, people have really jumped on Drake May, and even in the last 2 weeks, major uptick in Travion Henderson. This is what a lot of people said at the beginning of the year, at least as far as fantasy went. That you saw what Travion Henderson did in preseason, and a lot of people jumped on him in fantasy drafts. And even though he struggled early on in the season, the thought was, towards the end of the season, Ramondre Stevenson will break down. That's kind of what he does, and they will start to feature Travion Henderson a lot more, and he's got 5 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, imagine the Patriots' record if they didn't fumble at the one twice in the Steelers game. And, I mean, it would be better.
Yeah, gained them almost 200 yards in that game. They turned the ball over, I think it was 5
times. Oh, yeah. I was screaming for Vrabel when we had Dennis Allen, screaming for him.
Of course, they should have gone to overtime at least with the Falcons. That game, I guess, could have went the other way. They lost. They won that game by 1 point. Falcons missed an extra point. So I don't know what happens in overtime, but just to balance it out here.
Yeah. So where did the line go over the course of the week, and where did it close, Troy? Because I've heard everything from 11.5 to 13.5.
I never saw 13.5. We don't have the ability to look at all the line movements after the fact, but I charted it multiple times a day. Early line, look ahead line was 10.5, and then once we got to this past Monday, it was at 12, and it was 12 and 13 all week. And right before kickoff, it was 12.5. But I would argue that, or I would say that most of the money, if people were not doing alt lines, which of course a lot of people do, but if you were just taking the straight line, it was at 13. That's probably where it was for 3 or 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is where we took a lot of the action before the game.
Troy and Max, as far as Max, what is one of my favorite things for all these lines and a lot of major outlets in college basketball, and college basketball seems like it's an earlier start than usual. Everybody puts their lines on a half, and there's only one now that I know of in our state that you got the sliding scale to buy it on to the whole point. The reason I buy it from the half to a whole point instead of a whole point to a half is because you just get a little bit more mileage out of buying that half point, because the difference between a win, a push, and a loss is a little bit more than a push and a win.
Right.
Am I right? The only one is Bet Rivers, and we saw a Texas Tech high-profile game. It was Texas Tech in Illinois. 3.5. It fell 4. It's the sliding scale is the only.
I can't think of one.
Yeah, so it's something you better. Every sports book has its positives and minuses. As far as college basketball, I can't live without this one. I just can't, Troy.
It's like a love song. I can't live without you.
It's a love song at the outhouse, Troy, for sure.
Right,
yes. Go ahead, Troy.
I was just going to say, it's for a lot of reasons it's great, but in college basketball it's especially good for one specific reason, and that's 18-year-olds taking foul shots late in games. That's where games can be decided, and it's a very untrustworthy habit. 18-year-olds shooting foul shots in front of thousands of people. So having that security on the hook is super important.
Charlie, do you want to ask Troy about his feelings in the past of Daniel Snyder? Why we got Miss Gayle on the hook here?
I got a pretty good idea
boy.
what he's going to tell me. The thing with Snyder is he was so mean-spirited.
Miss Gayle is charitable.
Yeah,
okay, but
as far as a person, Daniel Snyder was very easy to dislike. Gayle Benson as a person is very easy to like. As an owner, they are both horrifically bad.
yeah.
But yeah, Troy, what did you think of Daniel Snyder? Did you feel like you had no hope when you woke up in the morning?
He stole 30 years of my fandom life. I'm a diehard Georgetown Hoyas fan. That's where my mom, my dad, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins all went. I imagine it might be different if he never owned the team, because Washington D.C. still it's a football town. We're a Commanders town, and I've always liked them. They've always, it's hard not to love your team, but by the time I was 14, I was playing golf every Sunday with my dad because he didn't want to watch the games. And that's why I got pretty decent at golf, and now I can play with anyone because we were playing golf at 1 p.m. To your point, it's one thing to be a bad owner. And I think even if you look at the Nationals, what the Lerners have been doing in the Nationals here in this market, they're not great owners, but they're not jerks. They're not terrible people. Daniel Snyder was an awful person, miserable person, petty, vindictive, manipulating, played people against each other. And there's 30 years worth of history that you can look back on. So I couldn't be happier that I don't have to think about him. And now it's just I always say now it's just they're bad this year, right? The team's not good, injuries, whatever. I'm fine with teams not being good, they're scoring points, but whatever. What I don't want to do is have to focus on an organization. I want to root for a team, for athletes on a field. And most of Commanders' fandom of the last 30 years has been off the field organizational stuff, and I don't really care for that. And it's just been a dumpster fire. So glad that it's just bad product on the field. We can get over that. But at least it's, all systems go as far as people's jobs and, trying to do good.
Troy, the middle of November now, where these lines are a lot more accurate, baked in pretty good in college football, but still any significant action for the public action for this week's college football slate?
Yeah, this is a weird week. I'm still seeing a lot of Texas action. Texas plus 6 at Georgia is the fourth most wagered on play. I've kind of been out on them, but they seem to have readied the ship. In Georgia, while still good, them covering has been a bit of an adventure. And when you look at the strength in plays, you see the teams on the other side, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, bad teams. People are backing, a lot of favorites there. But it's just an odd week in college football and in pro in terms of how people are backing. I don't agree with a lot of the public percentages. But that should probably make for a very interesting one. Notre Dame minus 12.5. I think it may be at minus 11 now, or 11.5. That's also a super strong play. I honestly have not watched any at all with Pittsburgh, so not really sure what that is about. And nearly 3% of all the money's on Notre Dame to win. So Notre Dame to win and cover would go a long way to the public having a good weekend at Bet Rivers.
Notre Dame, the pros have had them power rated higher than their ranking over the course of the season. Now, listen, they have not covered the last 2 out of 3. They didn't cover against Boston College, did not cover by the hook against USC. But they covered by a mile last week against Navy. They're a public team to begin with, but it's 12.5 now pretty much everywhere around there. And Martin Heinzel, it's real simple. They're 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread since he has been the starter, the freshman. And he's got a little bit – you want to talk about a guy who's going to be available next year, Eli Holstein. So he is a quarterback that will be a hot name in the transfer portal next week. Troy, give me your best NFL pick and abstain from picking the Commanders this week. So any game but that game. Who do you like the best?
I like the public. Do like the over in the Eagles-Lions game, even though the Eagles are coming off of a sluggish, low-scoring game against the Packers. But the Packers have been in games like that. Eagles-Lions over 46.5 is the fourth most wagered on play. You don't see overs or unders wagered super heavily this early in the week. And then the one on the spread I do like, and it is going against conventional wisdom, or at least what the public is thinking. And I like the Bears to cover 3 at the Vikings. I'm not sold on J.J. McCarthy. I'm very sold on their weapons, but they got to get the weapons ball. And I just don't think the Vikings are all that good. and the Bears have been playing really well, albeit against, maybe not the world's greatest teams, but they're scoring points. Their team totals at 23.5. I wouldn't be surprised if they get to 24, but I really like the Bears to cover. And right now, Vikings to cover is the second most wagered on play. It's also a pretty strong play as well in the mid-70s in terms of money. So I'm going against the public here. I can't believe I'm believing in the Bears, but at this present time in the NFL season, I like what they've done. I think Caleb Williams is trending in the right direction, and I'll take them to cover against the Vikings team. I just don't trust.
Number one in a turnover margin in the NFL, and it is not close. It's a big dip to number 2. Troy, we'll talk later. We're out of time now, but Mr. Queen from Maryland, I mean, he's having a nice start.
No,
I know the price
player.
was too much.
Yeah,
he gave up too much, but he's having a nice start.
Offensive skill set is nice. There's a lot of things
under the rim player, but a lot of different moves. I follow Troy on Twitter at Troy.
He's real good, and he's just scratching the surface.
There we go. All right, Troy, have a good weekend. Hit them straight during the Commanders game on Sunday. So, feel free to follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker. That's MACHIR. But yeah, that defense. He's the first one that told us. I mean, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago, he says our defense is really, really bad. Our friends at Total Maintenance, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, service today, every day. Means you call today, you get service today. Now is the time. You're not thinking about it because we're not stressing those AC units too hard right now. But if your unit is over 10 years old, if you had it serviced over the summer, might be time to replace it. You're going to get a great deal now. Not when it gets hot, not when it starts hot, and people have to replace them. It's now is the time to get them. So Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem units available. Call us up at 480-1000 because if you are in the market of needing to replace an AC unit, nobody likes to do it, but you're going to get a great deal now as opposed to May, June, and July. Call Total Maintenance 480-1000, 480-1000.
Live at Rufino's. Log of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
As more of Gayle Benson's exclusive interview is released from the Times-Picayune, two other things to stress. Number one, stressed that neither the Saints nor the Pelicans are for sale. And asked about Willie Green, she said, I hired Joe really like Willie Green, but I hired Joe Dumars to assess our basketball operation. When he makes a decision, that's up to him. So the future of Willie Green and the Pelicans off to an atrocious start lies with Joe Dumars. Just relaying the news, Jimmy.
Gotta go to break.
Live at Rufino's. Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments. We're back with Bruce Marshall on the other side here, and our picks for the weekend, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. He's out there somewhere in the world. Maybe even your local sports book.
Can anybody help us?
Let's bring in Bruce Marshall.
And return here at Rufino's Live at Lunch. Bruce Marshall, where is he exactly?
Where are you,
today?
Brucey? Huh?
Well, I am back in Las Vegas. I escaped the Bay Area, but you guys, I tell you, you should have seen my wife watching the air. Now, how I got her to the Air Force San Jose game is another story unto itself. But her reaction watching Air Force, she watches the NFL. She doesn't watch much college, certainly not service academies. But she's, what are they doing? How does a team play like this? Don't they throw? And I said, no, just wait. And she said, they're terrible. I can't watch this. She started to knit as the game was going on. But Air Force ended up winning. But it was pretty funny to hear her try to make sense of that Air Force option. She's not a devotee of Falcon football, I guess.
Bruce, I hate to be the advisor in marital relationships, okay? But knit when Air Force is on offense, watch when Air Niumatalolo is on offense, okay? You know, I mean, my Air Egan, he's throwing the ball every time, huh? I mean, come on, Bruce.
No. Well, I'm an old-fashioned guy, so I like that Air Force stuff. But my wife is with you. She just does not want to watch Air Force, so I'm not going to be tuning into that one with her in the room at least tomorrow at UConn. But I'll be watching.
Yes, indeed. Bruce, from an outsider perspective, you're very intelligent, well-traveled. We respect you. Historical perspective, we lean on you a lot. What is your opinion of what's been going on at LSU?
Oh, a hot mess. In a way, I sort of think I have very little sympathy for Brian Kelly. I really don't, and it's basically, and it's pretty shallow reasoning on my part. It's just from seeing him at SEC Media Days, and he just does not look comfortable there, and he just does not look, and he's not, it's all sort of forced there with him. That's just from my personal, very limited interaction with him. But it's almost like all these parties deserved each other, the way they did this. I was a little quizzical about hiring Kelly in the first place, just the way that just kind of happened so quick leaving Notre Dame. I didn't think he was the greatest fit. Hey, you can't, he's a real Yankee coming down there to Baton Rouge, first of all, so he's out of place in the first place. But when it didn't, they had chances there to do a little better than they did, especially with the Jaden Daniels team, and they just kept falling a bit short. And the way this thing unraveled at the end, I mean, it's a hot mess. It's a great job, but it just looks like there's so much pressure there. Now you get the governor involved in all that. They can win. They've won big. They've won national titles several times in this century already. But, man, it takes a special coach to handle that pressure there. It's not the only place in the SEC like that.
Well, but you say that. You say that, Bruce. Let me counter, because the data, the facts of it is there's only been 2 programs where 3 straight coaches have won national championships.
I know.
LSU and Miami. So how is it so hard to win here where it's proven that, no, you don't need Saban's one of a kind, but is Orgeron or Miles going to go anywhere else and win a national title?
No, it is. I mean, it's a great job, but it takes the right guy to do it. And, Kelly was pretty accomplished for whatever problems happened at the end there. And the bar is so high there. Florida's the same way. I mean, if you don't win a national title, you're in trouble. And that is a pretty high bar. Yes, it's a program where you can do that. The resources are there. The history is there. The tradition is there. Everything fits. But the pressure is ramped up so high, and not every coach can handle that. Not every guy wants to deal with that sort of pressure. And that could scare away a couple coaches. Lane Kiffin, maybe. I'm not sure he's going to be receptive. We'll see. But it takes a special guy to deal with that and a special set of circumstances, because if that bar is set awfully high, and that could scare off some coaches.
Charlie, have we outlived, actually, LSU jobs more pressure than Notre Dame?
Yeah, well, we saw that from 4 years ago. I mean, think about the firings at LSU and some of the – would LSU have had as much patience with, say, Tyrone Willingham as Notre Dame did, or Charlie Weiss? No, I don't think that they would have. And when they rate the epitaph on Brian Kelly, it won't be that he wasn't a good enough coach to win here. In my opinion, it'll be that he was not the coach that he once was. He was no longer all in at the level that you need to be to succeed at a job that is as demanding as this is. I think it's a lot less about where he's from as to where he was in his career. He was at the point where he was winding down. He was building a retirement home. We knew all that when they hired him, but we were willing to overlook it because of his record. He didn't have that fire anymore. I mean, that's just what I saw.
Will he coach again?
No, I'd be shocked if he did.
All right, Bruce, let's get to some picks. I mean, we could talk about Miss Gayle Benson, the owner of the Pelicans or the Saints, if you'd like, but we're going to pass.
Okay.
Who we got, Brucey? Come on, give me some picks, Paul.
Okay, let's go. Bonus pick real quick tonight. Won't mention bonus pick Clemson tonight. I'll just give you that one over Louisville. Then we'll go to Saturday. Speaking of Air Force, I'm going back with Air Force now. How about this for an interesting intersectional, boys? At UConn. That's a little odd trip here, but the Air Force will get there just fine. UConn, an enthralling win last week over Duke. Joe Fagnano, the quarterback. How about this? 25 TD passes, 0 picks.
How about
he should
that?
get a couple. Yeah, how about that? He should get a couple Heisman Trophy votes. Jim Moore's got this team bowl eligible again very quietly while everybody looks at Dan Hurley there. He has put UConn football in a pretty good place in recent years. This will be the third bowl in 4 years for Coach Moore, so good for him. But Air Force comes in, and I'm telling you, we talked about this last week. A year ago, down the stretch, 4 straight wins to close the season in November. They are in position to do that again. They got one down, San Jose last week. The 4 games previous to that, and we talked about this last week, boys, all decided by exactly 3 points. Liam Zarka is a really interesting option pilot. I mean, he's as good, now that I've watched him, he's as good as they've had. We were sitting near his family at the game last week, and they said this kid had thrown for over 6,000 yards in high school, so he can throw some, too. They just don't have him throwing that much, but it's a dynamic offense. The defense is getting better. And now they went out here. They get bowl eligible. This is a little over a touchdown, what I saw. A tough spot for UConn to have to face this option without a week off in mid-November. I'm taking Air Force Plus tomorrow up there at Pratt Whitney.
Remember the Huskies' record 4 years before Mora took over: 1-11, 2-10, 1-11. They didn't even play COVID. They just skipped it, 0-0. That's inheriting a mess. It's a pretty damn good job. Why isn't he being mentioned for a lot of these jobs?
Well, that's a good question.
They got a few jobs to fill, right?
Yeah.
He might be. He might be. I would keep an eye on his name.
Okay, Brucey, who's next?
Okay, ACC. Duke hosting Virginia. Late word is that Chandler Morris might actually start this game for the Hoos. Last week, knocked out in the second quarter of that game against Wake Forest. The backup, Kalen, could not engineer a TD drive, and the Cavs lose that game to Wake Forest 16-9. Morris supposedly gets, there's a better than 50-50 chance he starts tomorrow. I say that isn't that much of a deal because you look at Morris's stats the second half of the season, he has really dropped off. I know he's only played a quarter last week's game, but still, last 5 games, only 2 TD passes. I mean, the passing game has really dropped. And you talk about a team flying close to the flame. We talked about that before with Virginia. They have 3 in their last 5 games before last week, 3 overtime wins. One of those in double overtime against Florida State. Another one against Washington State where they trailed almost the whole game and got a safety in the last 2 minutes to win by 2. The other game at Cal, they really could have lost, and they needed a pick 6 in the last minute to finally sew that thing up. I mean, this team could be on a 6-game losing streak just as easily right now. And I know there's a great storyline there with Tony Elliott in Virginia, but this team just walking too close to the edge. Duke is still in the ACC race. They have shot themselves in the foot a couple of times this year, but when they have looked good, they have looked really good. And Darian Mensah is actually in the midst of a pretty darn good year. He's on 24 TD passes and 4 picks. And Duke, like I say, when they look good, I mean, they have still got a shot at the ACC if they can win out here, and they could get to Charlotte. I'm taking Duke. I'm laying 4.5 tomorrow against Virginia.
Duke controls their own destiny. The Tulane transfer signing a 2-year deal in Durham. He's 4th in the country with 2,794 yards, only behind Jennings at SMU. Fagnano, you mentioned 25 TDs, no interceptions, but also 2nd in yardage, passing yardage this year, only behind Air Niumatalaloa. Well, wait, help me out with that, Bruce. Coach K, the real Coach K at San Jose State. Who's next, Bruce?
Okay. Let's go to the Sun Belt, and let's go to Hattiesburg, where Southern Miss plays Texas State tomorrow. I'm surprised this number is just 3.5 threes I'm seeing. Braylon Baxton is probably going to play. He got knocked out of the game briefly last week against Arkansas State. Liddy, the backup, actually came in and led a scoring drive, and then Braxton came back in the game. I mean, he should be good to go here. His last 2 years, we've talked about him earlier in the season, but if you put what he did at Marshall for Charles Huff last year, and then he moves to Southern Miss with Huff, 38 TD passes, only 7 picks. That is some high-quality production from Braxton. And, oh, by the way, Most people, I think, covered that game with Southern Miss last week. It was a late move up to 6.5, but 5.5 most of the week. Another cover. Charles Huff now 60. If you got to cover that week, 16-3-1 against the spread since last year at Marshall. So he's carried that with him. Southern Miss is on a collision course with James Madison for the Sun Belt Championship game. And how about Texas State? This is the longest point spread losing streak in the country. They are on a 7-game spread losing streak. It's all kind of falling apart. Brad Jackson, the quarterback, has thrown too many interceptions lately. Their defense is collapsing here. They've lost a couple of games in overtime, so that upped the scoreline a bit. But this has been a big letdown for G.J. Kinney and his attempts to get to a bigger job. Not happening after this year. Listen, Southern Miss for me, looks like a steal. Golden Eagles for me tomorrow.
How many 5-0 conference teams are at home and less than a 4-point favorite? It's 3.5 right now against an 0-5 team. Charlie, I've done it. You know the cheer? You know the cheer, Charlie?
Yeah,
Max, do you know the cheer?
SOUTHERN, Southern Mississippi. And
USM.
Yeah.
There you go, Charlie.
Let's see.
All right. Teamwork here, Bruce.
They played 9 games this year. Max has bet them 114 times.
I'll be on them again. It won't be in my 5-pack, but I'll be on them again.
I know
who is that? Southern Miss?
Southern Miss. I've been betting them all year.
You know, Brucey, I jumped the gun a little bit trying to take them in that first game with the points against Mississippi State. After that, they had a chance to backdoor. They had to drive, just couldn't push it into backdoor against Mississippi State. But they have been a covering machines. And still, Huff, going from Marshall to Southern Miss was just – I know this. I was with a couple of Southern Miss guys in Tuscaloosa last week. They are blown away with the job that this guy has done.
All I know is this summer, Max said, Southern Miss looks really good, and he's got to buy a new truck. And now he's got a new truck, so that's all I can tell you.
The Southern Miss coach bought Max a new truck. How about that? And his dad. But anyway, so let's get to it, Brucey. Who's your next one?
Okay, let's hopscotch around also the group of 5, and let's go up to Weston, Kentucky this week, hosting Middle Tennessee. Bowling Green, it's a very nice place, and this brings me to Tyson Help. Keep your eye on him. Now, he's been content to stay there because, like we said, it's a nice place. It's not that far from Nashville. He's got things rolling. He could probably stay at Bowling Green as long as he wants. But he is a Jimmy Sexton client, and Sexton is very high on him. Now, if Summerall from Tulane or Silverfield from Memphis moves on, this is the sort of guy who could move into one of those jobs. So keep an eye on Helton. He's won, and he's done it with 2 different quarterbacks this year. Maverick McIver, the first, Rick McIver's son, shoulder injury. He put up good numbers the first month. He's been out. Tisdale, the freshman backup, last game over 300 yards passing, 4 TD passes. So he's got 2 ways to go. McIver might be ready this week, but they could still go with Tisdale. And they are en route to another Conference USA title game berth. They have absolutely owned Middle Tennessee in recent years. And, oh, by the way, my vote for the worst hire in the past couple of years, listen, LSU hiring Brian Kelly looks like hiring Vince Lombardi compared to what Middle Tennessee did, pushing out Rick Stockstill and bringing Derek Mason in. This has been a disaster the last 2 years. They are 1-8 this year, and they were very lucky to win that game at Reno. Gave up 56 to Florida International last week. He's firing assistant coaches now. This was a bad idea for Middle Tennessee, and they are getting what they deserve for making such a bad move. All Stockstill did was go to 10 bowls with the Blue Raiders, and they got rid of that guy. I didn't get it. Western Kentucky to blow out Middle Tennessee tomorrow.
Hilltoppers minus 13.5 current line.
13.5, yep. Yeah. Home of the Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of the National Corvette Museum.
If you ever are driving in the middle of the night to try and make it to Churchill Downs in Louisville and you need to take a nap, the Bowling Green rest stop is very nice. It's very nice. Just crack your windows a little bit, a little cool air coming through, Brucey.
Right down the street from the Corvette Museum.
And you want to get to the Clemson game tonight, huh, Bruce?
Yes, I do, and you could drive there from Nashville. By the way, there's a really nice Buc-ee's right outside of Bowling
Yeah, there is.
I did Buc-ee's the first time Monday. No, bro, it's legit. It's legit. Yes.
I got one more for you if you want.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce.
One more. Let's give you one more. I'm going to give you San Diego State tomorrow, and I don't know what happened in Honolulu last week. I think Hawaii can, and when they get going, they can go pretty well. And the momentum in San Diego State just didn't work. So they take a bad loss. But at home this year, 4 games, they've only allowed 31 points at home. I mean, they were a wrecking machine for most of the season with that defense that was top 10 nationally. Boise, we saw them completely fall apart 2 weeks ago against Fresno when Maddox Madsen went out. The backup quarterback, Cutroth, could not throw the ball downfield. Literally, I don't think he threw the ball more than 5 yards downfield. Totally overmatched. Madsen is out tomorrow. It's going to be Cutroth again against the San Diego State defense. Good luck. San Diego State needs to get back on track to stay in. And these two teams are right at the top of the Mountain West, but Boise shouldn't be there with this backup quarterback. It is like they should do direct snaps to Riley, the running back. He's that bad. And against this defense, no chance. I could see an under in this one, too, but the spread is, I'm seeing 2.5.
1.5 now. 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 right now at
I'll
our
take the
friends at
Aztecs.
We'll be doing Football Sunday this Sunday from DraftKings Outlet at the Queen. So 1.5 over at the Queen right now. What happened? I can tell you what happened. I've going to Del Mar for 2, 3, 4 weeks every summer. I've seen a sprinkle the whole time. Matt Humans, Captain Sunshine, went over to the islands and brought his 4 inches of rain with him to the game on Saturday and doused the Aztecs in that one. So San Diego State -1. They're not used to rain there, Charlie.
Can we ask Bruce that question we asked yesterday with this forecast coming up this weekend at the Coliseum? Have you seen
Bruce, they got inches of rain at the Coliseum. Is that going to affect
Have
the
you
play
ever seen
before we get to the Clemson game?
a really heavy rain game at the Coliseum?
1970 Notre Dame USC. I'm still wet.
That was before Anthony Davis game, huh?
55 years ago.
Joe Theismann threw for 526 yards in the most incredible display I've ever seen in my life in a torrential downpour. But if it's raining, I didn't know if it's raining. It's not raining in Vegas, but if it's raining in L.A., that could be to Iowa's liking. We'll see.
It's raining. It is raining. You don't think they own a tarp at the Coliseum?
Be a waste of money.
Yes. That thing is, they got to crack off the dust off
of the Rose Bowl.
It's dry rotted.
I can't ever remember it raining at the Rose Bowl. That's why they kick off at 4:40 or whatever it is. No, I don't mean the Rose Bowl game. I mean the Rose Bowl stadium. I don't ever remember UCLA playing in the rain.
Yeah, this is USC. This is Coliseum. This is a hood.
Yeah. It's all SoCal.
Clemson tonight, Bruce, huh?
Well, Louisville, I did want to take Clemson. I think Louisville's so slowing down here. Miller Moss, listen, last year he started off fast in September at SC. He was benched by Lincoln Riley in November. Look at his recent numbers. They've not been good. Louisville's struggling with Boston College. They're trailing Virginia Tech in the second half. They lose at home to Cal. They are 0-6 versus the spread at home this season. And Dabo, I'll take Klubnik's actually played better since he went out. I'll take Clemson tonight, sure.
Klubnik had an unbelievable game last time, so he's showing some signs of coming out of it. And he did this last year when they lost some games, and then he finished really, really strong. So, I know they're not in contention like they were last year. They're not going to back their way in. They're not one Miami upset away from getting into the title game, but they're playing better. And at running back, what's his name, Max, for Louisville? He's
out.
Isaac Brown.
Yes.
He's been hurt. Yeah.
Yes, Isaac Brown. Isaac Brown is, a heck of a running back. That's a big loss for Louisville tonight. Quarterback's best friend, a running game. Miller Moss does not have it tonight. So we covered everything with Bruce, huh?
I think so. Huh? Yeah. We got our rain game in the Coliseum. We're good.
Rain game in the Coliseum. 55 years ago is like yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you want to ask him an NFL game?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bruce. Your best NFL pick and why?
The Giants. Jameis Winston. You're getting over a touchdown. For one shot here, I could, and the getting rid of Daboll, we've seen interim coaches when Kafka gets his shot as an interim, we'll see. But listen, Jameis Winston will get the ball downfield. He's a much better option than Russell Wilson with Dart out. And listen, Green Bay's, this offense, Jordan Love hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 2 weeks. I think something's wrong with Green Bay. They lost here to the Giants 2 years ago. You laying over a touchdown? I'm going to take the G-men.
Bruce Marshall, follow him on what? I don't know. Where are we following you now today? I don't know. The Weather Channel. I mean,
the Weather Channel's fine. Also, CBS CBS Sports Line and Vegas Insider. You can get all my stuff there too.
Tremendous stuff, Bruce. Only you can do it. We appreciate it, man. Good luck to you this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good weekend, boys.
Yes, indeed. You staying in town for the LSU-Arkansas game, whether you're an LSU fan or Arkansas, man, a great little spot is Town Square Pizza. It's, less than a 5-minute walk from all of the major hotels downtown. You go in, they do it. You make to order. You can pick and choose. You can pick one of our specialty pizzas, or you can kind of create your own. They put it in these souped-up ovens that, about 7-8 minutes, and it is piping hot. It's fresh, generous portions. It's inexpensive. It is a must. If you're downtown looking for a quick bite to end in the weather, they have outside tables facing Town Square, facing the brand new library. It's Town Square Pizza downtown.
And the library is not all that new. Hey, you remember that game?
It's new, Charlie.
You remember
Nobody
that game?
goes in it. It's got that new car smell.
A&M went to UCLA. This is
was that the Labor Day night?
Labor Day weekend.
The Jimbo Fisher
Might have been
30-point loss.
Monday or Sunday.
I think it was Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
They came from 34 down to beat them.
Yeah. Josh Rosen.
It rained that day.
There you go.
It rained that day. Thank you,
That's
Patrick. I appreciate it.
Josh Rosen would have had a much better career if he could play in the rain. He was a mutter.
Who knew? Live at
He's free.
Rufino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Charles Hannegrift's 5-pack of picks. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Make sure you use Louisiana rice, grown by Louisiana farmers since 1936. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
Charlie.
All right. I'm going to see if I can improve a little bit. It's kind of treading water here for most of the month of October and into November now. Let's start off with Oklahoma.
Your commentary over the last month has not been treading water.
No?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
A little bit more volatile than that.
Okay.
Continue, sir. I'm sorry.
Oklahoma plus 6.5. Sooners number 1 yard per play defense in the league, number 2 rush defense overall. Alabama 14th in the league in rushing. Sooners make them one-dimensional. That puts a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson. Alabama's covered every game that they've won, but Oklahoma, I think, is the second-best team that they have played. I actually think Oklahoma's got a really good chance to win this game straight up. I will take the 6.5 if Bama wins. I do not think that they win it by a touchdown. So give me Boomer Sooner plus 6.5. I'm with Bruce on Duke minus 4.5 against Virginia. Unranked team favored against a ranked team. We go back to that. But Virginia has 2 wins against Power 4 teams with a winning record, Louisville and Cal. The rest of their schedule has been pretty much a bucket of yuck. That includes the non-conference. They're 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. It's a decent win at Cal, but they seem to be fading a little bit, and I acknowledge the fact they may get the quarterback back. But Duke has won 4 out of 6. If they can take care of the ball at all, the 2 games that they've lost, they have lost a turnover battle badly, if you're counting downs and missed field goals, which we do. When they take care of the ball, they're usually okay. I'm going to say they're going to be able to take care of the ball tomorrow against Virginia. I'll lay the 4.5 with Duke. Going to take USC, whether it rains or not, in the Coliseum tomorrow against Iowa, minus 6.5. USC's home record against the spread under Lincoln Riley is really good, and they're 4-1 this season in that category. And don't look now, but they're playing a little bit of defense. 3 of their last 4 games, they've held their opponents to 17 or less. And I think Iowa took a gut punch last week. I mean, that was a long, physical, draining, emotional game. They took the lead and then lost it in the last couple of minutes. I think that was a gut punch. The long flight out to California. And if Iowa's got to play from behind, that could be trouble. So I'm going to go with USC minus the 6.5. I'm going to take TCU plus 3 at BYU. Horned Frogs have lost 1 game by more than a field goal all season long. They're also about 9 yards off of being the top passing team in the Big 12. And they're a very good rush defense team. That's important against BYU because it's a very powerful BYU rushing attack. TCU is the 3rd best rush defense in the league. BYU's good. I think they're a little fortunate to be 8-1. The last 2 games that they have won, their opponents have outgained them. And then Texas Tech dusted them pretty good last week, but I'm not gonna penalize them too much for that. Texas Tech is really good, but the two before that they won, they were outgained. I think TCU is solid. Little money line sprinkle here too with TCU at BYU. And I take Georgia minus a 6.5 against Texas, and this is all about Georgia's record at home and Texas's record away from it. Georgia earlier this year lost for the first time at Sanford in 6 years. Texas has lost at Ohio State. Okay, no shame there. But then they lost at Florida. Shame, shame. They could have lost in Starkville, and they should have lost in Lexington. So I'm not real wild about the way that Sarkisian's group has played away from home. And this is probably about as tough of a home venue as you're going to find in the league. So I'm going to go with Georgia minus 6.5 against the Longhorns.
All right. So, Georgia looking to beat the Texas Longhorns for the third time in these two seasons. So beat them in the SEC championship game, drilled them in Austin. So Texas, yes, struggled again in Commonwealth, struggled. And I talked to an Austin guy yesterday. They think they're improving. Say what you will.
Hey, you know why they need to fix the schedule in the league, Jimmy? Because Texas A&M's been in the league since 2012, and Texas has been in the league since last year, and Georgia's played Texas 3 times as many times as they played Texas A&M. This is why we needed to balance this out just a little bit more.
I'm fine with the new balance. I mean, even though LSU really got a favorable decision, beyond that, as far as playing everybody.
This is much better.
Playing everybody, every 2 years. Yeah. So TCU +3. BYU is 4-0 at home, 2-1 against the spread. So it's we'll have to see how they respond from getting drilled in Lubbock this past weekend. USC, the home and away splits are extreme for USC in Big Ten play. They are doing pretty good at home, not so much on the road. So we'll see about that, even with the rainy conditions. Virginia, the luck meter has been high on the Cavaliers this year. And the guy that's carried them, Morris's kid, the quarterback, he will be less than 100% if he plays at all. And LSU, Alabama minus 6.5. Smelly. The luck meter for the Tide, though, has been pretty high as well. That is just a little 6.5 under a touchdown. A little smelly for a public team like the Crimson Tide. Looks like they're almost inviting Alabama action in that one.
Well, they won't get it from me. Come on, Oklahoma.
No, they don't. So don't forget our friends over at Las Palmas, right down the street, and location on Airline, Gonzales, in Dutchtown, Rio Cantina. It's a great, like Matt Human says, I want to go where that place every night. It's a fiesta. I mean, Matt Fiesta Humans, huh? Our little ray of sunshine. So, look, it's long-standing restaurant family. It's clean. It's affordable. It's family-friendly. It's fresh ingredients. It's affordable. Plenty of generous portions. Great happy hour. So, my friends over at Las Palmas in Rio Cantina, two great restaurants. And they've got from Central to Bruley to Gonzales to Dutchtown to Highland Road to Corsi Boulevard. Again, Las Palmas and Rio Cantina.
Live at Rufino's. Log of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jimmy Ott's 5-pack of picks, brought to you by Supreme Rice. Make sure you use Louisiana rice, grown by Louisiana farmers since 1936. Available at most local grocery stores. Supreme Rice.
And we return here. We're reminiscing with some old friends here.
Absolutely.
Never know who's going to walk in here at Rufino's.
Miss Carla, the sales lady, and a veteran sales. She's so sweet. And Mr. Clay.
Carla was one of the first people I met when I walked into the first radio station I walked into.
Is that
here
right?
In Baton Rouge. Yeah, she's a pro.
Max, how's the standings? How'd Charlie do?
I was 2-3 last week.
Okay.
One game below 500 for the year with a bunch of ties.
Yeah, 25, 26, and 4. Charlie is. Jimmy has the lead among us, 31, 28, and 1. And I've had a rough little go the last couple of weeks, 28, 31, and 1.
Okay. Go ahead, Charlie. I'm sorry, we got yours already.
I did.
Oh, it's my turn. Is it my turn?
Your segment.
All right, Michigan State. Mile Vohevich. Yes, he engineered those 2 backdoor covers. 3 backdoor covers against Nebraska. Remember that day at the Queen?
I do.
Yes, when they finally put him in for Childs. Against Indiana, although it was a field goal, it covered at the end. Against Michigan, that covered. And then threw for 311 in an overtime loss at Minnesota. He has been starting. So you think Penn State? Charlie, you think Iowa left a little bit on the field, a tough loss? I think Penn State did too.
I agree with you.
There we go. Same angle. Give me the Sparty plus some. Penn State, mid-November, still looking for their first Power 4 win of the season.
You think this is karma for that non-conference schedule?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I
mean, I would have never figured
Yes.
3 and 7. How many catching here? 7.5?
Seven.
Seven.
It's seven.
All right.
7 right now. Clemson plus 2.5 tonight. I got a couple of Friday night games for you tonight. Cade Klubnik is playing much, much better. So Louisville's running back who has really carried the load for him. So Miller Moss going to be a different story for him trying to carry the team on his back. Dabo, we don't really like him. He whines too much, but he is good in this situation. When his team gets knocked out, they still play hard. I got to go with Clemson plus a 2.5 to win outright at Louisville tonight. So Oregon, here's the November schedule. They have a bye. They have this trip to Iowa City, which was a 60-minute game. They escape. Next week they host Southern Cal, who's also still alive for the college football playoff. And then their last week they travel to Seattle in their rivalry game against Washington. And then here's Minnesota, rowing that boat up to Eugene this weekend.
Boat rowing.
Disinterested a little bit. Let's get in and out. Take a 14-point win. Kind of reminds me of the Wisconsin game, which fell 14. Minnesota's way better than Wisconsin. Give me the Gophers plus 25.5 tonight at Eugene. Notre Dame is a public team to begin with. Notre Dame routed Navy. Okay. Now they play Pitt. Damn it. Pitt's 5-0 and 5-0 against the spread and straight up since they went to their freshman quarterback, Martin Heinzel. It went up 12.5 at home. That's right. Narduzzi said he doesn't care about this game. BS. You don't think he cares about this game? Oh, that is possum. That is a load of crap. That's rat poison, Charlie. Give me the Pitt Panthers in his sleepy noon Eastern kickoff at Pitt. Game day's there. Oh, well, give me plus 12.5, a favorable line in that one. And Darius Mensah, this just in, he's pretty good. He is doing just fine in Durham. And, man, can they just clean it up? Huh, Charlie? Hold on to the ball.
Please.
Hold on to the ball.
I'll take -1 right now.
I'll
take -1 right now.
It up.
In a turnover battle.
Duke -4.5. Virginia's living on borrowed time. The luck meter. Chicago Bears, the NFL, meet Virginia in college football. They have had more than their fair share of luck this season. Give me the Duke Blue Devils at home. And I'll go back. Georgia Tech's way better than Virginia, if you ask me. You agree?
Yes.
The most misleading outcome all season might have been Duke, Georgia Tech. I mean, they went up and down the field. Remember the 99-yard scoop and score?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just awful. So I'm chasing that money. Give me the Blue Devils -4.5. Michigan State +7. Clemson +2.5. Minnesota Gophers tonight +25.5. Pitt +12.5. Duke -4.5. Max?
Yeah, rough couple weeks here. 2-3 last week, got hooked twice. 28-31-1 for the season. Going to start off with South Florida laying 10 on the road at Navy. Yes, it's a big game in the American Athletic Conference. Navy, they're getting their quarterback back. Blake Horvath missed the game last week with Notre Dame. Maybe they sat him out just because they know how big this game is in the conference play. But South Florida has been just dominant in these stretches, offensively scoring an average of over 45 points a game in their last 6 games.
The disappointing season continued last week for the Navy Middies. 7-2. 7-2. Forget that. 1-8 against the spread.
Okay.
1-7.
1-7. No, VMI. Yeah.
The Mad Russian going to get a job? Any distraction there?
He should.
Goalish, maybe. Maybe that's a
They got a few
distraction. That's fair.
openings.
But South Florida's defense, their strength is their run defense, and that helps against a triple option attack like Navy. So I'm going to lay the 10 against South Florida. I think they blow them out in this game. North Carolina +6 at Wake Forest. This is a game that should have very few points, so the points are at a premium. And if I'm catching 6 with an improving North Carolina team under Bill Belichick, I'm going to take them. Regardless of whether it was a bad beat last week, Jimmy and I have debated that last week against Stanford. They have been covering. That was one that they did not. But they've covered 3 of their last 4. Wake Forest, meanwhile, they don't score enough points. Their last 3 games, they've scored 16, 7, and 13. And now they're laying 6. This is not a spot they've been familiar with. They've been catching points. Now they're laying 6. I'll take them with the Tar Heels.
Bad beat, covering, and by more than a touchdown. The other team goes 75 and 80 yards, where they only had 3 points the entire game. They go 75 and 80 out of nowhere to cover. No, it's not a bad beat. Continue, Max.
I had them too. But we move on. UCLA plus 31.5 at Ohio State. Jimmy, I've been talking highly about Ohio State all week, so why would I bet against them? Well, I bet against them last week. It was a backdoor cover for Purdue, but here's the point. Ohio State, they play slow. So does UCLA. So this is going to be, less possessions in this game. Ohio State in the last 4 games, they've scored under 40 points. They've only scored 40 points once against an FBS opponent. That was Minnesota, and they only scored 42. Now they're laying 31.5. UCLA, you're basically asking them, can they score? I think they can. They've got a bit of an offense since they made the change at coach. So I'll take the Bruins, catching 31.5. Just too many points in a game that won't have enough possessions. Mississippi State, they're trying to get bowl eligible this week. It's been a rough go of things over the last few years, but I think this is their real opportunity. They got Ole Miss on deck after a bye week, so they've only got 2 games left. They're heading to Mizzou, to Como, and Missouri is just not a good enough team to be laying points with their current offense. Zollers is not the guy offensively. He's not the same as Perbula. They've taken a step back there. Missouri's got to be disappointed with where things stand right now. They thought they maybe had a chance to get to the playoff. They have no chance of that now. I don't think they can lay 7 points, even at home, so I'll take the Bulldogs catching the 7. And then my lock of the week, I've lost 5 in a row these, by the way, Jimmy, so I don't know if you want to tail these, but
Costanza,
Utah State, UNLV over 67.5. 2 over teams. They've been trending over. Utah State has a transfer quarterback, Bryson Barnes, who you may remember from Utah. He has been outstanding this year. They have been moving the ball effectively. Meanwhile, UNLV has no defense. I know they allowed 10 points last week to Colorado State, but that team has no offense whatsoever. These are 2 offenses that move the ball effectively with dual-threat quarterbacks. I think the winning team probably has 50 in this game. So over 67.5 between Utah State and UNLV.
136 Division I teams. If you're 128th, is that good?
No.
UNLV opponents' yards per play. Their defense is horrendous. But probably one of the craziest stats, and it's by design, according to reports. Ohio State with the incredible defense, probably the best defense in college football. Okay? I mean, you take – I would. They're mine.
Yeah.
119 plays per game out of 136 in Division I. Ohio State. They're shortening these games by design. They think they're going to play 16 games this year. It's a long schedule. Less plays, give you a better chance at less injuries. There you go. So I don't think that's just coincidence. That is extreme for such a strong defensive team.
No, I agree, and I kind of like that pile of points. I want to ask you about Minnesota because I came very close to taking this as well, and I backed off for this reason. They have played 3 games on the road this year and been absolutely obliterated. Now, they played some good teams. They lost to Iowa by 38. They lost to Ohio State by 39.
Iowa didn't even have 300 yards offense. Everything went Iowa's way that game. Just saying. But they had like 270 yards.
And they got blown out of Ohio State. Okay. They're good. Okay, yeah, 42-3 there. They lost by 2 touchdowns at Cal. So I was a little bit – I'm going to be on them tonight.
That's your boy.
Javen, Kayale,
you ever been to Berkeley?
Sanga, Pulitella. No.
Things happen when you get on that campus, Charlie. I've been there.
Well, they lost by 2 touchdowns. That's what happened the last time. I'm just a little bit worried about them on the road.
The creepiest thing, it's one of the nicest campus, one of the most prestigious campus, and it's like 4 minutes from Oakland.
No.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Different.
All I know is when Minnesota went there, they got their ass beat. So,
Sagapolatelli.
Yeah, they've lost all those games on the road. Keep it within 25.
Keep
it within shouting distance.
Get out. Got bigger fish to fry. Get in, get out. So don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Bluebonnet and Burbank. Our friends at United Community Bank. You know, running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you're a partner. Contact Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, David Henry, Prentice Wilkes to discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
live at Rufino's. Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris, Edward Jones Investments, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris of Edward Jones Investments. Now, back to Live at Lunch from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You got to love Lane Kiffin. I told you. Now, he's not trolling Florida, but did this poll or whatever on Twitter. Who's going to be the next Arkansas coach? Now, Lane Kiffin, the actual Lane Kiffin, comes in and says, I think it ought to be Brandon Walker. The guy from Barstool. I mean, who besides Lane Kiffin takes his time on a Friday to just troll another fan base just for the hell of it? They're not even playing Arkansas this week. Only Lane Kiffin. He's unique, I would say. Is that a
hadn't signed that deal for a reason.
Wouldn't you love to know what the number is on that deal? The one that's sitting on his desk at Ole Miss.
What's he making this year?
9.
10 or 11.
For how many years?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
What is Signetti's? Now he shouldn't get as much, but I mean he's.
It was 90,
but you're in the SEC.
I think the total on it was 96 for 8 years.
So Florida, the gap of the jobs has tightened with the new landscape.
Right.
But still, there's still people say, is Florida a better job than Ole Miss? I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, right now, because he has excited his boosters enough to contribute, but when he leaves, he's not going to excite the Florida boosters as much to at least surpass that. If he comes to LSU, is he not going to excite the boosters enough to surpass what he's getting out of Ole Miss?
If the contract on his desk is for $11 a year, I know why he hadn't signed it, because he can get more than that if he wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's got. You're gonna have to go north.
Don't you think LSU's offering 13?
I think
for
Florida,
7 years.
Florida is for sure.
Who you think's going to outbid each other? Who's going to win that bidding war between Florida and LSU?
I think it sits somewhere between 13 and 14 million. I think the years.
I didn't ask that.
Okay.
Who's going to offer more?
I think Florida may be more desperate at this point.
Oh, Charlie.
I don't know.
No, Dikembe.
Been a lot longer since they won.
I understand, but LSU has done this. They. No, I'll be surprised if Florida's got more on the table. Not saying he's not going to take Florida over LSU.
Yeah.
I mean,
north of 13.
Layla.
Everybody have a great day. Football Sunday from the Queen at 10 o'clock on Sunday. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.